holy ground. Hence, even today, in most of our Blessed Sacrament chapels, you have this quotation that reminds us about this. We don't remove our shoes, by the way, when you go to the Blessed Sacrament chapel, dahil nandun yung Blessed Sacrament chapel. We do it out of reverence. It's a sign. It is a sign. If you wear shoes in the Blessed Sacrament chapel, it's no disrespect to God. He created the cows with which we make our shoes. So He wanted us to discover a way to create shoes. That is not the point. The point is, it is a sign for me to be warned that I'm entering a holy place, the presence of God. So it's not something for God. God really doesn't care if I wear my shoes or not. But it is important for me because every time I remove my shoes, automatically I know there is something special that is going to happen. I am entering a holy ground. And this is the reason why for so long we Catholics have kept the tradition of Sunday by external gestures. One of them, very important, is the Sunday best, which we are forgetting about. Father, the important thing is what you have in your heart, not what you are wearing. I don't go to church to make a fashion show. Mga hipokrito yung ginagawa yun. It is true. What matters is the heart. It is not externals. But externals help the heart. I think many of us read The Little Prince. If you remember, in The Little Prince is one of my favorite books, and it's a book full of wisdom, much more than you can see when you read it the first time. When there is an encounter between the fox and the prince, they meet the next day, and the fox that is training the little prince tells him, you should have come back at the same time. People do not know anymore how to follow the proper rites. And the little prince says, what are rites? He says, I'll give you an example. On Thursdays, the village girls go and dance with the men from the fields. So they're all dancing on Thursdays. Thursdays are a wonderful day for me because they're all dancing in the town and I can go to the field and eat as much corn as I like because there is no one looking after the fields. But if they went just any day of the week, it would be very hard for me to get my food. There are proper rites. Sunday, I always loved Saturday evening. Since I was young, Saturday evening was a day, even in the seminary, where you could have time after all your studies just to be there and to relax, to have a longer bath than the usual days because you have to rush all the time, to take care of yourself and to dress up properly and to go to the Mass, which introduces already Sunday, is a rite. It is something telling you this is different from all other days. Externals are very important. They are not central, but because we are made of flesh and blood, they help us, they remind us, hey, there is something special happening here. When you remove your shoes before entering the Blessed Sacrament, it is already telling you, hey, you're entering a holy place. Okay. Ano po to? Introduction lang po. Di pa ito yung homily. Okay. Now, there is something very important about the readings of this Sunday. In this meeting between God and Moses, the Lord says something beautiful that speaks of the heart of God to Moses. He says, I have heard the cry of my people. I see how hard their life is, so I decided to come and rescue them. The Lord from on high can see that people are having a hard time. He can hear their pain, so He goes down to meet them, to take care of them, to be one with them. This is God in the first reading. In the Gospel, we have this parable of Jesus that he tells the people because they feel to be better than others. The people who died, crushed by the tower, the people who were slain in Jerusalem, they thought to be better. Because, every one of us thinks that someone who gets a disgrace upon himself has committed some kind of a sin. That is why you're being punished. That is not the mind of God. So pag niisip mo na parusa sa iyo ng Diyos yung nangyari sa iyo, sorry, wrong number. God doesn't think that way. We do. Pag may nakamali ka, bigla parusa. That's how we are trained. That is not the mind, the heart of God. God isn't there every time to punish you for every little mistake you make. This is your parents, my parents, the priests of old. This is not the heart of God. God is too busy just to be checking after you and me every time you make a mistake. He has more important things to do. He has to save life. He has to give life and joy to people, not to make people miserable. That is not God. At least it's not the God of Jesus Christ. In the Gospel, the opposite of what we saw in the first reading, the heart of God appears, is the heart of man. And the heart of man is this, that when someone does something wrong, so we have the parable, these Pharisees, these righteous people, the parable of the fig tree. The man goes there and doesn't see any fruits, so what does he say to the gardener? Cut it down. Putulin mo na. Tapos na. 3 taon na. Walang bunga. Putulin mo na. I have my little garden upstairs, vegetable garden, organic. Very soon, wait for it, I will have my banqueta after the 11:30 Mass, so you can buy vegetables from me. But I'm very frustrated with my calabasa. If there is any expert here about calabasa, please approach me after the Mass. I have to talk to you. My calabasa is growing very well, big leaves, is spreading all over, and it starts making fruits. Beautiful, green, they start being long, and after a couple of days, they turn yellow, they wither, and they die. Very beautiful. So, because I go up in the morning, that's my happy moment of the day, I go up to look at them, and every time, already how many times I go up, I see the calabasas growing, and then I go back next day, yellow, dying. So, what did come out of my heart? Sabi ko kay gardener, kay June, putulin mo na. Tama na. Masyadong masakit sa puso, di ko kaya. But that's what we do. That is what we do in life. The opposite of the heart of God. Yung kapatid ko mismo, kapatid mo, he's doing something against you. Your own sister, your own brother, your own blood, at a certain point we reach that stage in which we tell ourselves and we tell one another, you know what? Better to keep away from each other. Putulin mo na. Putol. Kapatid mo yun. Better to be away from them. I don't talk to them anymore. Every time they call me up, it's always for something. They need money. My parents, they call me up just for money. What? I changed my number. I will block them. Block them. They will buy another SIM card. And they will call you with another number. I will block also that number. Putol. I don't want to talk to them anymore. Father, kung alam mo lamang yung ginawa sa akin yun, naku. Better to be away. Putol. That friend of yours, your best friend, now you don't talk to them anymore. They did so much to you, so better to be away. Putol. There are people living under the same roof, not talking to each other for weeks, months, years. Putol. People working in the same office, not talking to each other, like if they don't exist. Just cut it. It's okay. People who make a little mistake to you, something wrong, a sin, immediately cut. Cut it. cut life. That's the heart of man. The heart of God is that He says, I have seen their faults, I have seen their sins, I have seen how hard their life is, how much they are suffering. I will go down. I will go down. We say, Buto, we go up. I want to read to you the prayer of the gifts that we will pray now. It says this, a beautiful prayer. Be pleased, O Lord, with these sacrificial offerings, and grant that we who beseech pardon for our own sins may take care to forgive our neighbor. What I pray every day, and what you pray every day to our Father in heaven is this. I'll do the first part. Let's see if you remember the prayer. Our Father in heaven, forgive us our transgressions, or forgive us our trespasses, ulitin natin. Forgive us our trespasses. I cannot hear you. You know, the good thing about this Mass, this is the last Mass in the morning, and at 4:30 walang misa, so we can go on the whole morning. And I can go on the whole morning. I'm makulita. So, forgive us our trespasses,
as we forgive those who trespass against us.
That's what we ask the Lord every day. So either we have the heart of God and we go down, or we keep our own hearts and we go up. And then we are asking God to do exactly to us as we do unto others.